Hello and welcome to the Media Review segment. I have with me here the NUJ President, Malam Mohammed Garba, to discuss with me the agenda-setting role of the media for the 2015 elections. You're welcome, sir.
It's my pleasure.
Good to have you here. Let's go straight to this. There's been claims that the media is not doing so much to set an agenda for a non-violence-based election in 2015. What's your take on that?
Well, I've heard about it, and I have read also comments on the pages of the newspapers, and I had the privilege of also discussing with quite a number of stakeholders in the polity, and I always insist that the media is really doing a lot in terms of mobilizing and sensitizing Nigerians about the effect of post-election violence. I also believe that if you are talking of setting agenda for the media, I mean for the politics and for politicians in this country, I think if there is one agency that is doing a lot, I think the media is one, because right from the election process, you realize that it is only the media that is sensitizing Nigerians about knowing what are involved in the election process. For instance, like the issue of the permanent voters register. I have seen quite a number of free adverts on the pages of the newspapers. I have seen the broadcast media also doing enough to sensitize Nigerians about the need for them to ensure that they have their voters register. So I want to believe that if you analyze the whole situation and then probably review what happened after the 2011 election, you realize that the media is really doing its best to ensure that whatever happens in 2015.
Beyond crying for the media to set an agenda, what form should this agenda take?
Well, I think the basic form the agenda should take is by ensuring that one, the election is free and fair, by way of trying as much as possible to be part of the stakeholders, especially when it comes to the areas of election. There has to be a partnership between the media, which is quite existing, to ensure that the election process are really genuine, they are as transparent as possible, which I think the media is participating and is doing a lot. And then there is also need for us to ensure that we set agenda as well for the politicians to realize that once you are in politics, you are bound to either win or lose election. And we have seen the campaign, the ongoing campaign in the country from the two major political parties, as well as other political parties that are going to be involved in the election. And we have seen the language. It is the media now, if you can see, that is really cautioning politicians about the language they are using in campaigning. So I think these are part of the agenda that is expected by the media, and I want to believe that the media is doing its best in ensuring that we really sensitize Nigerians to ensure that there is free, fair, peaceful and transparent election. And then we are also talking on trying to analyze the situation in terms of election. Telling politicians that, look, if really you are into politics, you have to accommodate other people's view. That's why you have different views, different opinions, and different analysis even coming on the side of the media.
And that brings me to this question, and I have a concern about this. Can the media alone set the agenda?
No, it has to be a collective responsibility.
Yes.
As far as I'm concerned. It is only the media that will sensitize and mobilize Nigerians to realize that this is the set objective that we intend to achieve between now, probably to the time of the election in 2015. So I think it is not only the media, but it is part of the responsibility of the media as enshrined in the Constitution to ensure that we disseminate information that will educate Nigerians about the need to ensure that the election is free and fair and transparent, and there is need for us to accommodate other people's opinion.
Thank you very much. I would also like to read this quote from Ray Epo. I'm sure you agree with it. He says, the media alone cannot set the agenda for the election. It says the joint enterprise. Yeah. And he says a communal service and a national project that must be done by all major stakeholders, the government, the society, the civil society, and elite groups, think tanks, and thought leaders, and the media in general. Everyone has a collective role to play in setting the agenda. Let's move on now to the Code of Conduct, the new Code of Conduct for election reporting in 2015. It's proudly supported by NUJ. Can you give us like brief key highlights of that?
Well, I think we are really mindful of the fact that there are a lot of concerns has been raised by quite a number of stakeholders and quite a number of Nigerians about the issue of ethical journalism, not only in Nigeria but in Africa. And we thought that in view of what happened in the last elections, where there are a lot of conflicts in terms of reporting election processes, where there are a lot of challenges in areas of security and safety, the stakeholders in the media industry decided this time around to come up with what we call the Nigerian Media Code of Ethics for election coverage. And we met at different levels. It's a work of about 1 month or so. All the stakeholders in the media industry met, the Nigerian Guild of Editors, the Newspaper Proprietors Association, BON, the NUJ, Ratau, among others. And we came up with this document that will be able to guide all journalists, all media workers who will be involved in the conduct of election coverage in Nigeria. And we believe that if we are able to read this document and probably comprehend the content of this document, it will be a document that will be able to guide our colleagues towards the covering of the 2020 and 15 election. And this document has been formally presented by ANEC chairman. Sometimes that was last month in Lagos. It was represented by me during the Council of Information meeting here in Abuja. And we have enough copy. It was sponsored, the publication was sponsored by UNDP and quite a number of international and NGOs. And we have quite a number of copies that has been sent to all the state councils of the NUJ and other stakeholders in the media.
Are there consequences for not abiding by this code of conduct?
Of course, if you read the content, you will see the consequence. If you don't abide by this code, I think there will be a lot of problems, and one is anticipated that there will be a lot of challenge in terms of covering the 2015 election. And we are sensitizing our members. We are also mobilizing our members to ensure that every journalist, not necessarily those who are going to be involved in going around to cover the election, even editors who will be at the headquarters to ensure that they got these stories and see how the stories can either be published or analyzed by the broadcast media, will have this copy so that it will guide them. Because we want to ensure that, one, we are not partisan, we are accurate, we are fair, and the issue of balancing as far as coverage of election is concerned. And I think that is what we are trying to achieve as much as possible. And I'm happy that we have this document that has gone around. We still have quite a number of copies that we are still going to send to all the media organizations in Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Before we leave, let me bring your attention to this report as reported by the Leadership newspaper on Wednesday, January 7th. You know, it says, and I guess when people have issues with the style of reporting of the media at this point, this is exactly what they mean. It says, the headline, Jonathan Buhari in Twitter war. Now, having read this article, these tweets were not necessarily contentious. They were not necessarily issue-based either, but, you know, it was interpreted to, you know, being a war. My question really is, how will this way of reporting help an electorate to make a well-informed decision in voting in these coming elections? What is the NUJ doing to encourage issue-based reporting?
I think we have been very, very consistent in that. We have been very consistent in really sensitizing our members and mobilizing them. That is why the issue of this document, we have it before us. And I also believe that when it comes to the issue of social media, as you know, there are a lot of challenges that are associated with what is coming up in the social media. And I know that it is not only at our own level, at the level of the FAJ, at the level of the IFJ, it's a very serious, contentious issues which is being discussed, and we are trying as much as possible to see how we'll be able to accommodate it, to have an effective reportage that is not biased. But when it comes to our own level of our publication and our practice of media profession here in Nigeria, I think we are trying as much as possible. We have been very, very consistent, as I said, in sensitizing our members to ensure that we captured issues that has to do with the development of this country. And we are also cautioning politicians, as I said. Some of the remarks coming from the side of politicians is unbecoming as far as I'm concerned. You can see the response coming even from the part, especially from the two major political parties. And we believe that in view of what is happening in this country today, the issue of insecurity as it is today, the issue of economy, there are quite a number of issues which we felt that this is the right time for politicians to come out and tell Nigerians these are the strategies that we'll be able to adopt in resolving some of these contentious issues if eventually we're elected as either president or governor or members of the National Assembly, among others, rather than engaging in words that will further compound this problem and eventually lead to some crisis in this country.
Thank you very much. On that note, we will end on this quote. And I need for you to listen to this because it's very important. It says, whichever angle the political reporter regards the political scene, the political reporter needs to keep his feet on the ground and must see beyond the external, which the politicians hope will be all the voter would see.
Yeah.
So that is equally important for people reporting on politics at this point in time to take note on. Thank you so much for being with us.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate.
Thank you. It's been Malam Mohammed Garba on the Media Review segment. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Insight. Before we go, Anita?
Thank you for being such great company today. Remember, for more information, you can visit our website, insightstv.net. Once again, do enjoy the rest of your day. I am Eniton Okediji.
And I remain Omini Odem. Make good to be our guest on next episode of Insight. Bye-bye.